Picture this scenario. You are lungs burning and legs screaming halfway up a jagged peak in the Rocky Mountains. You have spotted a trophy ram 3 ridges over, and the wind is howling through the canyon. In this unforgiving environment, gravity is your enemy and physics is the judge. Welcome to the high country. It is 2025 and we need to have a serious talk about ballistics. Not every round that dominates the flat range can survive the climb. Some cartridges are legendary on paper, but absolute liabilities when the elevation spikes. We're exposing 5 specific calibers that veteran mountain hunters are leaving in the gun safe this season. These are the rounds that might cost you the shot of a lifetime. Number 5 is a tactical titan that simply does not belong on a sheep hunt. The .338 Lapua Magnum. This cartridge is a certified monster. It was born in Finland in the late 1980s as a collaboration between Lapua Sako and Accuracy International. It is a battlefield legend designed to bridge the gap between standard sniper rifles and the massive 50 BMG. We are talking about an 8.6mm projectile screaming out of the muzzle. The case length is 2.72 inches, and the overall length is a massive 3.68 inches. When you load this with a 300 grain bullet, you are generating nearly 5,000 foot-pounds of energy. The history here is undeniable. In 2009, the British sniper Craig Harrison used this exact round to set a world record combat kill at 2,475 meters. It is accurate and it hits like a freight train. But here is the brutal reality for the mountain hunter. It is dead weight. Rifles chambered in .338 Lapua, like the Accuracy International AXMC or the Barrett MRAD, often weigh between 12 and 20 pounds. Dragging that much steel up a vertical face is pure misery. Unless you have a team of Sherpas carrying your gear, this system is too heavy and the recoil is too violent for a precision offhand shot in the alpine. Number 4 is an American classic that has outlived its expiration date in the high country. The 4570 Govt. This is the old warrior. It was adopted by the United States military way back in 1873. They call it the Thumper. It pushes a massive 405 grain projectile, backed by black powder. For over 150 years, this straight-walled rimmed cartridge has been knocking down American bison and brown bear. When you are in the thick brush of Alaska inside 150 yards, the 4570 is arguably the king of the woods. However, the mountains are not the woods. The problem here is trajectory. This round drops like a stone. It has the ballistic profile of a rainbow. If you are hunting across a canyon and your target is standing at 300 yards, you're practically aiming at the clouds to make a connection. Modern loads from companies like Buffalo Bore add power, but they cannot fix the physics. The recoil on a lightweight lever-action rifle like the Marlin 1895 is punishing, and the effective range is simply too short for open terrain. You do not want to be guessing your holdover when a trophy bull elk is staring you down from the next zip code. We are moving down the list to number 3, and this one is going to ruffle some feathers because it is arguably the most popular starter cartridge in North America, the .243 Winchester. Everyone loves this round for its mild manners and high speed, but does it actually belong on a rugged mountain hunt? Introduced back in 1955, this cartridge is essentially a .308 Winchester case that has been necked down to hold a 6mm bullet. It is a brilliant design for the flatlands. Here are the specifications you need to know. You are firing a .243 diameter bullet with an overall cartridge length of 2.71 inches. Typically, you are running bullet weights between 55 and 105 grains. Velocity is the selling point here. It screams out of the barrel at up to 3,300 feet per second. For varmint hunters and whitetail shooters in the Midwest, this is a surgical tool. It is flat shooting, and the recoil is negligible, making it the perfect choice for youth shooters or anyone who is recoil sensitive. But the mountains do not care about your recoil sensitivity. The reason mountain hunters are losing trust in the .243 Winchester comes down to two factors: physics and stopping power. When you are chasing a tough bull elk at 8,000 feet, the wind is relentless. Those light 6mm bullets get pushed around by mountain crosswinds significantly more than a heavy .30 caliber projectile. Number two is the polar opposite problem. This is a cartridge that offers too much of a good thing. The 300 Remington Ultra Magnum, or the 300 RUM. Developed by Remington in 1999, this round was designed to be the alpha dog of the .30 caliber world. It uses a massive, non-belted, rebated rim case, based loosely on the .404 Jeffrey. The powder capacity is enormous, dwarfing the standard .300 Winchester Magnum. The performance is absolutely staggering. You are pushing 150 to 220 grain bullets at warp speed. A 150 grain projectile leaves the muzzle at 3,200 feet per second, generating over 4,000 foot-pounds of energy. It shoots like a laser beam and hits with authority well past 400 yards. So why is it falling out of favor? Because it is violent. The recoil on a 300 RUM without a heavy muzzle brake is severe. In a lightweight mountain rifle, it creates a flinch-inducing kick that makes follow-up shots nearly impossible. It is also what ballistics experts call overbore. We have arrived at the #1 spot on our list of cartridges that are losing their tenure in the high alpine. This selection might shock the traditionalists, but in 2025, the data does not lie. We're talking about the classic quarter bore the .25-06 Remington. Now I know what you are thinking. This round is an absolute legend on the antelope prairies of Wyoming and the bean fields of the South. But when you take it into the jagged peaks of the Rockies or the thick timber of the Pacific Northwest, the cracks in its armor start to show immediately. First, let's clear up the lineage because this round has a serious pedigree. The .25-06 started its life as a wildcat cartridge long before Remington legitimized it. The recipe is simple but aggressive. You take the legendary .30-06 Springfield case and you neck it down to accept a .257 diameter projectile. It is a speed demon. With a 120 grain bullet, you are looking at muzzle velocities hovering around 3,000 feet per second. If you drop down to lighter varmint bullets, it screams at over 3,200 feet per second. For decades, this was the definition of a flat-shooting lightning bolt. So why is it getting left behind by modern mountain hunters? The answer lies in the barrel length requirement. To get that advertised velocity, the .25-06 is horribly inefficient unless it is running through a long barrel. We are talking about a minimum of 24 inches to burn that slow powder effectively. When you are navigating steep scree fields or busting through dense, lodgepole pine timber, a long 24 or 26-inch barrel is a liability. It snags on branches, it acts like a giant lever, throwing off your balance, and it makes the rifle incredibly unwieldy. In the modern era of 2025, mountain hunters are obsessed with running suppressors. If you take a rifle with a 24-inch barrel and thread a 7-inch suppressor on the end, you are suddenly carrying a 31-inch musket. That is simply not practical in a tactical mountain environment. Compare that to modern efficient cartridges that can achieve complete powder burn in a 20 or even 18-inch barrel, making them compact and suppressor ready.